Om Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyannijantargatam Pashyannātmani Māyaya Bahiribodbhutam Yatha Nidraya Yassākṣāt Kurute Prabodha Samaye Swātmānameva Dvayam Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Bijasyantarivāṅkuro jagadidam prāṅnirvikalpam punaha Maya kalpita deshakala kalana Vaichitra chitri kritam Maya viva vidrumbhayatyapi maha yogi vayasvechaya Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha vīryaṃ karavāvahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om. So we'll be discussing one mantra, very important mantra of Upanishad, which reveals the method how to know oneself. One should know oneself necessarily that everyone knows. One is searching freedom. One loves freedom without being educated. Nobody tells me you love freedom. You should love freedom. You should never love bondage. Swami, you are the only entity who loves bondage. You are really a peculiar. No one loves. Love for freedom reveals that one can be by nature is free. What you love generally could be your nature. Gaining freedom, one remains with oneself. If one finds oneself bound by anything in a relationship or by your own body, mind, senses, when you equate with that, identify with that, or identify with the external situation, with person, etc., and you feel bound, suppose, you are not comfortable. Only when you are free from any kind of bondage, limitation, then you are just with yourself. When you are with yourself, you don't have any bondage. So simple. Vedanta is very convincing, extremely convincing. So, and knowing this free self, freedom from everything, including freedom from time, we are going to discuss. A fear of mortality, etc., has no place. We'll see. I will show you the steps in which way you should do meditation. But this is a reality. Freedom from free self means what? Well, nothing can limits it. Nothing can limit it. Even time cannot limit, space cannot limit, any object cannot limit, because it is not confined to an object. Confined to an object, object limits it. And therefore, well, basically, that way it is free self. So time cannot limit means there is no death. Swamiji, don't start like that. I'm inspiring you. Because there is a one part of that mantra, amrtatvam hi vindate, vidyayā vindate amrtam. Pratibodha viditam matam, amrtatvam vindate, ātmanā vindate vīryaṃ, vidyayā vindate amrtam. That's how one loves immortality. No one loves mortality. To think of mortality is considered as, a bad omen. To talk about death is also considered bad omen. Why? It's a natural thing. No. Let anything die. I don't want to die. Let anything die. Really. Let anything die. Unless you have eye sense in a thing which dies, then you cannot stand. That you cannot stand. Where you don't have eye sense, let it die. Yeah, I don't mind. Wherever eye sense is there, that should not die. Yeah. Anyway, so we'll be in 5 classes, I will have to prove that you are timeless consciousness. And also I will reveal you the steps in which then, once you leave, you can do the meditation on those steps so that you gain this clarity. Anyway, so this particular mantra belongs to a Upanishad. So we'll create certain background and everything, and then we'll enter into that mantra. It may take some time. And this Upanishad, Upanishad, as I said, so Upanishad is a very descriptive word with 2 prefixes, upa and ni, and there is a sad. Actually, sad is a root which has a meaning to disintegrate, to reach, or to destroy, etc. And that sad, and of course it's a root. In Sanskrit grammar, this is a thing we can make a word from a root by applying a suffix. And it could be a nominal word or it could be a verb, but you have to apply suffix. So here also upa plus ni prefix, they are a prefix, plus sad is a root. You want to make word Upanishad, you apply suffix. Any suffix we apply, then it will appear in the word. But here in a word, you don't find other than upa, ni and sad. Still, the root is converted to the word. So this suffix must be a 0 suffix. It's a 0 suffix. That's a Puja Swamiji's word, but I like it. I'm using it. 0 suffix. It makes the verb into word and leaves. That's it. Upa plus ni plus sad, right? Upa ni prefixes, sad root. You apply that suffix called quip. Converts into Upanishad because that suffix is a 0 suffix, so you won't find any residue in the word itself. Like Pachadhatu is there. Swamiji, don't start grammar class. A little bit. I'm not starting. But you find suffix. Like Pachadhatu means to cook. You apply suffix aka and you get the word pachaka, means aka appears there, right? Pachaka means a cook, one who cooks. But here you don't find. Yeah, there are some suffixes which is like that. But anyway, so this is Upanishad. And that suffix gives a sense of an agent, of an action being denoted by the root meaning. What is the root meaning? As I said, to disintegrate. Okay. So you are making upani sad has sad has a meaning to disintegrate. Now you have made a word which becomes an agent now. Agent of an action, denoted by that word. Sada means to disintegrate. So definitely now you make a word Upanishad, means which disintegrates, agent of an action. To reach, to help reach, to make know, or to help us reach. Well, that word does. To help us, to make us reach, let us say. That's better. to make us reach where? Where we want to go. Where we want to go. On this path, there is only one destination. There are no multiple destinations. The destination is the self, free self, moksha. Well, that it will help us. Upanishad helps us to reach to moksha. Upanishad disintegrates and destroys. Once disintegration takes place, then destruction. Disintegration means loosening. Yeah. So this is all our knots are there. They are loosened first, and then they get destroyed. So all knots, avidya granthi, they call. Granthi means a knot. Tying two things together is a knot. What two things? Well, this body, mind, sense complex, the ātmanā, and ātmā, the consciousness, are as though tied together. They cannot be tied. Opposite things cannot be tied. It happens in life sometimes two opposite things tie, but then, it doesn't work much. So that helps. Anyway, first they are loosened. All our complexes, which is present in the human head only. No other living being has all kinds of complexes, which is written in our biography. I am so and so, I am so and so, I am so and so. 5,000 pages, 500 pages, all written. I was born in this, these are my parents. I studied up to this. I married, I have a few children, like this, anything. I'm so and so, etc., etc. Engineer, this, that. All are knots. All are knots, complexes, which definitely person is suffering from. All complexes. Every complex reveals that I am a limited being. Any complex. If you don't keep any complex, you are simple, formless consciousness. That's it. So Upanishad helps to disintegrate those knots, also then destroy the knots, which is born of the ignorance. Ignorance goes away with the help of knowledge, self-knowledge. Self-ignorance goes away. So this is a word Upanishad. So these three actions Upanishad does, because the agent of an action, by the affix we got it. And word upa and ni. Well, upa means which is near. What is near to me is me. Near to I is I. There is nothing closer than I to myself. That I is Brahman. We'll see today itself in the first class. I itself is just limitless consciousness, Brahman. That is, ni means nishchaya. Upa means Brahman or self. Ni means nishchaya jnanam. So you ascertain. Nishchaya jnanam. You ascertain that you are Brahman. If you gain that, then these three things will happen. Three things will happen. The knots are disintegrated, loosened, they are destroyed, and also, this knowledge, helps us to reach to moksha, etc. So this is how what Upanishad has been explained. So self-knowledge is Upanishad in short. And, and it's at the end of the Veda, positionally end of the Veda, not culmination of the Vedic knowledge and all that. That's not a real meaning of Vedanta. So Vedasya Antah means generally position-wise at the end of the Veda. Sometimes you find in the middle section also in a mantra portion, Brahmana portion, but generally. Therefore Upanishad is also called a Vedanta. And so Upanishad word as such means this self-knowledge. And the book itself, we will call it as a Upanishad, which definitely has a subject matter, self-knowledge. So that's how what Upanishad has been explained. And there are several Upanishads, 108 and maybe more than that also, we don't know. Maybe Samveda was having 1,000 branches once upon a time. And perhaps each branch may have a Upanishad mostly. Like few of the Samavedas branch, which are known like the Tavalkara branch and some other branch, etc. The Kena Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad appears. So same way, may have more than even, somebody said 1,008, somebody said 108, whatever it may be. So several Upanishads are there. Every branch of the Veda, all the 4 Vedas, may have an Upanishad at the end. And Acharya has written, Adi Shankaracharya has written commentary on 10 Upanishads. Not 10 principal Upanishads. There's nothing like that principle. Every Upanishad means the self-knowledge. They convey one thing only. You are Brahman. You are free. You are what you want to be. That's it. That's a Mahavakya. That is what they want to convey. And therefore there is one is greater and the other is principal and there is subordinate, nothing like that. Acharya chose 10 Upanishads, belong to 4 Vedas. Yeah. To convey that every Upanishad, which, of the even different Vedas also, has the same subject matter. Very important. Yeah. Otherwise, at one place in one Upanishad, it is said self is limitless, Brahman. Other place says self is basically a human being or self is an individual, limited being, etc. Then you cannot devote your time, you cannot invest your time in such a thing. Where means of knowledge reveals something every time different, then you cannot rely. My eyes reveal the particular color is a brown color, and after 5 minutes it reveals as a yellow color. Then we have a doubt about our means of knowledge. So that is purport of the end. All the Upanishads belong to all the 4 Vedas has this. So Acharya chose 10 Upanishads from belong to 4 Vedas and commented upon that, which we call Bhashyam. And to distinguish one Upanishad from other, there are adjectives that we call name, right? And so Kena Upanishad. So Kena Upanishad means what? Begins with a word, Kena. The very first mantra, Kene Shitam Patati Preshitam Mana. So it begins with the word Kena. Therefore Kena Upanishad. Prashna Upanishad. Well, because there are 6 questions asked by 6 disciples to a teacher, Pippalada. Therefore, it is Prashna Upanishad. So no big deal in giving name. There is no big ceremony for naming. So, just like that, they have been given. Anyway, and so here also, Kena Upanishad begins with the word Kena, and therefore it is Kena Upanishad belongs to Samaveda. Yeah. Like Chandogya also belongs to Samaveda, where our famous Tattvamasi Mahavakya appears. Here every mantra is a Mahavakya. I will show you. Very big. Anyway, so Kena Upanishad, very small compared to Chandogya. This is about 35 mantras spread over 4 chapters. And it has a very significance because this is the only Upanishad out of 10 Upanishads where Acharya has written 2 commentaries. 2 commentaries. One commentary, is called Padabhashyam, a commentary based upon the words of every mantra. Every word of every mantra is explained. That's a general style of Acharya, to write a commentary. Every word he will explain. Even Samasa also will do the Vigraha, etc. So that is a Padabhashyam called. Pada means a word. So every word is explained. And the second commentary he has written on the same Upanishad is called Vakya Bhashyam. That's basically a commentary based upon the theme of every mantra. Not every word is explained, but what is the theme of every mantra. So there are 2 Bhashyams. That's how this Kena Upanishad has a very big importance. And people study both this Bhashyam, Padabhashyam and Vakya Bhashyam. Anyway, of these 4 chapters, the first 2 chapters give the main teaching, that is our self-knowledge. Then, the teaching is illustrated through an interesting story. That's the 3rd chapter. The Devatas, etc. We'll discuss later, if time permits. And the 4th chapter discusses the preparatory disciplines called Upasana, which I yesterday said, and Karma Yoga, I mean. Because you have 2 types of obstacles. In order to get rid of 2 obstacles present in the mind, And so make ready. Mind should be ready for the knowledge. Well, you should get rid of these obstacles. And so those preparatory disciplines have been discussed in the 4th chapter. 2 chapters, first 2 chapters, self-knowledge. 3rd chapter is story. Same teaching is illustrated through a story. And 4th chapter, preparatory disciplines. So 4 chapters, 35 mantras. That's the Kenopanishad. Anyway, now let us focus on these first 2 chapters. What is this self-knowledge, etc.? And the first chapter has 9 mantras. There is a dialogue between, most of the Upanishad has here also, there is a dialogue between a teacher and a student, like in other Upanishads. And sometime Upanishad mentions the name of a student, name of a teacher. Sometimes they don't mention. In Kathopanishad you find Yamadharmaraja as teacher and Nachiketa as a student. In Prashnopanishad also, the 6 disciples I told you who asked the question, well, have the names are there. And teacher, Pippalada also. But in here, it begins with a question. This Kenopanishad begins, the first chapter, first mantra is a question. Naturally, question of a student, but no name. Second mantra is the answer to the student. No name. So like that. Anyway, so this Kenopanishad basically has, is also a teacher-student dialogue. Dialogue is presented why? Why dialogue? Because it reveals the sampradaya. Sampradaya means a method of imparting knowledge or method of acquiring knowledge. There is a method. If suppose Upanishad, the teacher who talks about the Upanishad talks about Brahman in a particular way, which like I describe about few things, I describe about a place in India to you in words. Well, you gain knowledge, but definitely you, the knower, is different. And that's an object of knowledge. That clarity will remain. Same way, well, you are Brahman has been told here, but if it has been narrated in such a way by the teacher that you try to objectify Brahman. Generally, a thing is known to you by objectification in your mind. So then definitely it will be a disaster. You want to, means you gain the knowledge of Brahman, now you want to experience that Brahman. That will happen. That will happen. But so the sampradaya, the method is such in which you won't have any chance to know that Brahman just as yourself, not other than that. So teacher imparts the knowledge in such a way that where he will reveal that, well, there is no Brahman other than you, or you are non-separate from Brahman. There is no you without Brahman, without being Brahman, etc. Or there is no Brahman without being you. So that is called sampradaya. And there are methods. There are various methods teacher employ. One teacher likes one method, other teacher likes other method. And you know certain methods also, karya, karana, prakriya, drugdrishya, prakriya, avasthatraya, prakriya, panchakosha, prakriya. All these prakriyas are, methods are there, models are there. So that's called sampradaya. Method of imparting the knowledge, because it's a very peculiar thing. This is the only thing where you gain the knowledge without objectification. This is the only knowledge. All knowledge is in the world. Music, sciences, physical sciences, other sciences, social science, anything. You have to objectify in your mind. If you cannot objectify from the words of the teacher, professor, whoever, well, you cannot gain the knowledge. Here is a place without objectification you will know, right? And therefore there is a sampradaya, method of acquiring knowledge or imparting knowledge. Because the teacher knows that Brahman is oneself. And therefore, well, he wants that in students' head also, it appears like the saying. He will all know it as oneself only. So that is why dialogue is presented. Dialogue also reveals that in dialogue there is a question. And therefore, when you will ask a question to a teacher, when you have a doubt. Therefore, in order to resolve the doubt, to make your knowledge free from the doubt, then only it converts into conviction. Yesterday I told you, right? And therefore, for matter of conviction, well, definitely it should be presented in dialogue. The student can ask. Even Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna kept asking one question, just one question with different words, so that Bhagavan won't feel bored. So, yeah, kept on asking, what is good? A life of karma yoga or a life of sannyasa? Means life of with a commitment to knowledge. Who is better and all that? Same question in a 3rd chapter, in a 5th chapter, in a 12th chapter, even in a 18th chapter also. What is better? This karma phala tyaga is better or sannyasa is better? Same thing. Kept on asking. Then he said, well, nashto moha smriti labdha. So this dialogue is everywhere. Healthy thing, very healthy. Nothing to believe here. Ishvara is not to be believed. Ishvara is a matter of belief in other religions. Ishvara is a matter of understanding, is a Sanatana Dharma. That's a Sanatana Dharma where Ishvara is not to be believed. Generally we tell our children also, if they ask something regarding Ishvara, who created this and all that, and then who created hell and who, then we say, shut up, do your homework. No. Anyway, but we don't know then how we will impart this knowledge to our own children. Basically, Ishvara is a matter of understanding. That understanding is complete when you understand the Ishvara as oneself. That's it. Over. Where there is no distance between you and Ishvara. That's an understanding which is complete understanding. Anyway, and therefore here there is a dialogue. And so this, the first mantra begins with this question, Kene shitam patati preshitam mana. Kena. Kena means, by whom? So the nature of oneself generally is taken for granted, and that is questioned here. So a student asks this, ask about the nature of I. But he phrases the question in a very peculiar way. See the first line, Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha. So prompted by whom, does the mind land upon a given object? One does not even plan to think about any object. Still, the mind suddenly seems to land upon one object, then lands upon another object, etc. So this question, Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha, prompted by whom? Kena means by whom, prompted by whom does the mind land upon, fall upon a given object? Think of a given object. This question should be analyzed carefully because it's a very peculiar way of asking. And we will analyze. The first thing is that question may imply that does the mind itself move from object to object? We can understand that way. We can interpret this question like this. Does the mind move itself from object to object? One. Second, is there someone, if that is not the possibility, then is there someone, who is behind the mind, because of that, mind basically thinks of various objects. So behind the mind, making the mind think of something. So either mind itself moves from object to object, think of various objects on its own, or is there someone who is behind the mind, who make the mind think of a particular thing? There must be someone, because prompted by whom the mind lands upon a object. It shows he must have done a homework. So this student, he asks very clearly. So then, definitely we have to say that yes, there must be someone who is behind the mind, make the mind think of a given object, right? Now that itself if you analyze further, it divides into two more questions. That there is someone, let us say. Then the question is, does that someone, exercise any will to make the mind think? Or is that someone is a non-willing principle, in whose presence the mind thinks, emotes, perceives, recollects? This is the thing. Now we have to we have to negate all possibilities and have to come to the one possibility. Mind cannot think on its own. Just mind. I'm not talking about conscious mind. Just a mind, which is inert, cannot think of various objects on its own. That's for sure. So we'll keep it aside. So there must be someone who is behind the mind, making the mind think. Now that someone also wills. He wills, desires. Let me make this mind think. Let me make this mind perceive. Let me make this mind recollect. Let me make this mind emote. So that someone also has a will or desire. If there is a will on the part of that someone, then definitely it must have a mind, because will or desire also is a thought. Therefore, you must have another mind, which basically prompts this mind to think, emote, etc. Looks absurd, right? Looks absurd. There is another mind which makes this mind. Well, then that mind wills on its own or is prompted by something else. Swamiji, it's enough. Yeah, it's enough. It's enough. This particular defect is called anavastha. Anavastha. Anavastha means basically a regression to infinity. You cannot arrive at the truth. Therefore, there is only possibility is this. And the possibility is, well, now the question will be, is there someone, in whose presence, mere presence, without a mind, without a will, the mind basically and the senses function as such. But is there any example like that, just in its presence? Even he doesn't will, he doesn't desire, yet everything happens, yeah? And that is, examples are there. Like a king is sitting, right? A king is sitting in his throne, and he may not even think that this particular minister should do this or that person should do this. Just by mere his presence, everything functions. Everything functions without will on his part. Distinct from them and make them function. No will on the part of himself. Or else, even we can take another example. In the presence of a magnet, all the iron fillings become active, do their function, etc. So it is possible that there is someone in whose presence, without a will on its part, just merely by its presence, all the senses, mind, etc., functions. So activates the mind, etc., and without any will. So what is the nature of that factor? Well, that is responsible for the mind to be the mind. Yeah, for the mind to be the mind. When the mind functions, there is mind. Otherwise, where is mind? When refrigerator functions, there is a refrigerator. Otherwise, it's simple cupboard. Yeah. So there is some principle which is a refrigerator of refrigerator. Yeah. There is a refrigerator of refrigerator, air conditioner of the air conditioner. This is how I define electricity. Electricity is a principle independent of all these gadgets, but without its presence, nothing functions. Therefore, electricity is called refrigerator of a refrigerator, fan of a fan, and microwave of the microwave. Really? Microwavasya microwave. Okay? Shrotrasya shrotrama. There is a principle, independent of them. Just presence, no will. Please understand this. This is you. You are mere presence. We'll be discussing that. Anyway, so the capacity of the mind to perceive, to emote, to desire, to recollect, to decide, all this, implies the presence of consciousness, right? Presence of consciousness. What is that factor in whose presence, which is responsible for the mind to be the mind, for the ears to be the ears, eyes to be the eyes? Well, that principle must be consciousness. Without consciousness, nothing functions. A conscious eye sees, not an inert eye sees. A conscious mind thinks. A conscious mind emotes, not an inert mind emotes. Right? So that principle is consciousness. And if that is so, then does that consciousness belong to mind? No. No, it doesn't belong to the mind itself. Or, is there any other principle that lights up the mind, making it capable of perceiving, etc., which is independent of the mind, etc. So the mind and senses, if consciousness belongs to mind, then definitely we have to think mind emotes for itself. See now, if mind is conscious by nature, let us take it, then mind thinks for itself. Mind emotes for itself. Mind recollects for itself. Right? Eyes see for itself. Ears hear for itself. Nose smell for itself. No. Eyes, ears, nose, mind, all of they are doing the function for someone who is independent of them. That someone is this consciousness in whose presence, basically, without will on its part, all the senses and mind function. So anyway, and so here it says, Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha. That question we analyzed, that he is asking about a factor which is responsible for the mind to be a mind. Yeah. Then says, Kena pranaha prathamaha praiti yuktaha. Yuktaha, united with whom does the breath go in and out? Then Keneshitam vacham imam vadanti. Willed by whom do people speak these words? We'll see. Which effulgent, and then last question is Chakshushrotam kau devo yunakti. Which effulgent being, deva having some effulgent being, so which effulgent being unites the ears, eyes, etc. with its functions? That's a question. And definition of Atma has been given in the second mantra. Definition of Atma you will find in few places. Generally, Satyam, Gnanam, Anantam, etc., all this is fine. But, a huge sentence, definition, huge sentence, one you find in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Yeah. And in the Yajnavalkya Gargi Samvada, and you will find that in Akshara Brahmana, you find that, the definition of Akshara, definition of Brahman has been given in 4 lines, etc. Huge definition. Here also the second mantra is a definition of Atma. Of course, we can add another 3 mantras also in that. So, teacher replies to this question of a student in 4 mantras, 2 to 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. In that, the mantra 2 is very famous, so that's how we have taken that. So, teacher says, Shrotrasya Shrotram Atma. That factor, that someone who is just present, no will on its part. That I am not going to say it is consciousness, etc. He says it is Shrotrasya Shrotram, Chakshusas Chakshuhu. Even if I don't use the word electricity, when I say air conditioner of the air conditioner, you can understand very well that it is electricity only, right? Nothing else. This is, so here the reason is there. Why he has not mentioned Brahman, Atma, anything. Even giving the definition of Atma, he should say, Shrotrasya Shrotra Atma, Saiva Atma. What is the ear of the ear is Atma. He has not mentioned because of a nature, very peculiar nature of the self. Yeah, we'll see. Shrotrasya Shrotram Chakshusas Chakshuhu. Teacher talks about a one reality because there is no plural number. Shrotrasya Shrotram, one. And that alone is also Chakshusas Chakshu. What is eye of the eye? Is the ear of the ear. What is eye of the eye? Is the ear of the ear. So, that is Swamiji mind. Eye of the eye is mind. If mind is not there behind the eyes, where is the function of the eye? Eye cannot see. Even though eyes are open and falling on that object, the sight is falling on the object, but still there is no sight because mind is moving somewhere else. So eye of the eye is mind. Ear of the ear is mind only. If my ears are not, your ears, I should say, your ears are not here, you cannot hear. And therefore, mind actually is a shrotrasya shrotra, ear of the ear, where ear is able to function because mind is present behind. Therefore, Atma, this mind, Atma is this mind. No. Go further. Manaso, manaha. Abba. The same principle is mind of the mind. What is ear of the ear? Eye of the eye is the mind of the mind. Therefore, now you cannot say mind, right? If that is that's factor. That is the factor, which even because of which the mind functions, emotes, recollects, desires, decides, perceives. That's a factor. That is one principle, which is Shrotrasya Shrotram, which is Chakshusha Chakshuhu, which is Manaso Manaha. One principle, invariably present in all. Invariably present. What is variable is cognition, ear, all sounds. They are varying. All colors and forms vary. All smells vary. The consciousness which illumines all of them is one and the same. Invariable, changeless consciousness. So it's a changeless reality without which the mind is not a mind, eyes are not ears, eyes are not the eyes, ears are not ears. So Atma is this mind of the mind. And anybody's mind. Yeah. Not the human mind. Atma is the mind of everything, any living being who is having the subtle body, mind, etc. Well, Atma is that thing. And that reality is this invariable consciousness, because of which you see, because of which you hear, and you are conscious of what is happening in your mind also. You are conscious of anything. And that consciousness is self-revealing. What is, you need not have to reveal. You are all the time revealing. Yeah. Before you see, you are present. Eye is present or not? Yeah. Eyes have not to see eye. Ears not have to hear eye. Before ears function, you are there. Before eyes function, you are very much there. Before any perception takes place, you are very much there. Before you emote, you are very much there. Oh, Swamiji, when emotion was there, then I came to know I am there. So when emotion goes away, you go away? No. Yeah. So you are self-revealing principle. No means of knowledge has to reveal. Sound has to be revealed by this means of knowledge. Eye has not to be revealed by the ears. Sounds have to be revealed by the ears. Eye has not to be revealed by the ears. So they are not self-revealing. They are all revealed to this eye, which is self-revealing. What is self-revealing? Teacher need not reveal. Teacher need not have to say. If you are seeing this world, outside suppose, and you are able to see that, then it automatically proves one thing, the presence of sun. Oh, world is there, Swamiji. And sun also is there. Kya baat hai? You need not. Because everything is revealed in the sunlight. Therefore, you need not have to say the sun also is revealed. No. Right? Sun is self-revealing. The world is revealed after that. Tameva bhantam anubhati. Everything is... So basically, everything is evident to this I, the consciousness. I is self-evident, self-revealing. And therefore, what is revealed without any means of, without any means of knowledge is self-revealing. And that is I only. World is not. World which consists of names, colors and forms, and consists of sounds, and consists of smells, they don't reveal themselves. They are revealed through the means of knowledge. But you are very much there before this means of knowledge, senses, mind, all they function. You are very much there. So it is self-revealing principle. So, well, that is how Shruti purposely said, Shrotrasya Shrotram. It need not have to say Brahman, consciousness, Chaitanyam, Satchidananda, nothing. Shrotrasya Shrotram. The consciousness which is invariably present in the ears, because of which the sounds are illumined. Therefore, the ear is able to function, to reveal the sound, also automatically reveals the presence of consciousness. And the same consciousness is present in the eyes, because of which eyes function and reveal the colors and forms. And therefore, you are that invariable presence in all the senses. Mind will be coming to that. And therefore, Acharya does not, the teacher does not say that is ātmā, saeva ātma, nothing. Shrotrasya Shrotram is a definition. Chakshusas Chakshu is a definition. Ear of the ear is you. No, Swamiji, I am seer and I am hearer. We'll see. Anyway, that's how word deva has been used by even student. Chakshus Shrotram kau devo yunakti. What is that deva? What is that self-effulgent being? In whose presence, well, the mind functions, etc. Ears function, eyes function. He must be knowing that. And Acharya says that deva, that self-effulgent being is Shrotrasya Shrotram. It's the ear of the ear, eye of the eye. So because of that, you see various objects, you hear different sounds, you know various thoughts taking place in all of them. Well, it is invariable presence, without which none of them are revealed. None of them exist. None of them exist also, we'll see. So this invariable presence is consciousness. And that is how, when you say sound is, sound of machine is, you don't say anything, but one thing is proven. Sound of machine is, sound consciousness is. Right? Sound is, sound consciousness is. Without consciousness, there is sound. Without consciousness, there is sound. So sound consciousness is. Form is form consciousness is. Thought is thought consciousness is. The fact you say there is a particular thought, a thought of anger is there, Swamiji. It reveals that consciousness is there, right? Otherwise you cannot say thought is. The very thought is revealed where? In consciousness. And therefore, so we say, since it proves its existence also, we say ear of the ear, etc., eye of the eye. So manner in which the teacher replied, actually, Shrotrasya Shrotram, etc., reveals has revealed two facts. First, is without the presence of Atma, the senses cannot perform their cognitions, cannot perform their function, cognitive task. So it is invariably present in this variable senses and mind and everything. In every cognition, there is a presence of consciousness. So, well, you cannot define consciousness. You need not define consciousness. Other day, if somebody asked this question, now listen. In fact, it itself is a meditation. They asked this question. When I was discussing this, then in satsang, what is consciousness? Yeah? What is consciousness? He thinks that the way pot is, this is, that is, this Swami talks about consciousness. Well, what is consciousness? Consciousness is a word which is generally qualified. When you hear sound, there is a sound consciousness. Qualified. Sound consciousness. Qualified consciousness. When you see a color and form, when you see a red rose, etc., well, there is red rose consciousness. When you smell, suppose rose smell, jasmine smell, etc., jasmine fragrance consciousness. Right? Rose fragrance consciousness. You cannot deny it, right? Then, well, there is a taste of a salt. Well, taste consciousness, sweet taste consciousness, etc., etc. And then, well, there is a touch, cold, heat, etc., hot, cold touch consciousness, hot touch consciousness. Consciousness is generally a qualified word. which we call knowledge, cognition. Sound consciousness is equal to knowledge, sound knowledge. Now let us do this exercise. Whenever I utter a certain word, a meaning transpires in your mind. Right? Pot. Car. When I utter a word, meaning, object transpires in your mind. Table. Banana. Right? Pen. Microphone. Human being. Everywhere. Meaning appears in your mind in form of an object. Consciousness. Consciousness. Nothing happens. The meaning doesn't appear. Object does not appear. When I say table, there is a table consciousness. When I say body, there is a body consciousness. When I say body height consciousness. When I say weight of the body body weight consciousness. Color of the body, well, color consciousness. When I say table consciousness, what do you think? What is the meaning? Table consciousness means what? So table consciousness means consciousness plus table, object table, right? Consciousness plus table, object. Without you being conscious of, where is table? Without you being conscious of, where is chair? Chair consciousness, consciousness plus an object, chair. Without you being conscious of, where is chair? Without being conscious, there is no. Anyway, and therefore, well, when we utter this table consciousness plus an object, etc., when you utter a word consciousness, there is no object. That's how you are not able to see. When I say table, you see a table in your mind. That's a meaning, object. And also, of course, there is a table consciousness. But when I say just consciousness, you don't see an object. Generally, word, when I utter and you see an object, you see there is a meaning in that, a meaningful word. When you say consciousness, you don't see the object, you don't see the meaning. Therefore, consciousness is a meaningless word. Oh, Swamiji, you are giving daily talks on meaningless words. Something like that. You are not agreeing. You will not agree. So when you say pot, you see pot, etc. When you say consciousness, you don't see object. No meaning. So basically consciousness is, the meaning of the word consciousness is there. It's not meaningless word. And the meaning is not an object. Then what is the meaning? What's the meaning? What is left? Subject. That's it. Therefore, what is consciousness? Well, the simple answer is you. That's it. You is a meaning. Right? You is a meaning. When you say other words, etc., well, then there is consciousness associated with it, and they are revealed. But consciousness is self-revealing. All the objects are revealed in consciousness. That self-revealing consciousness, which is present in the eye, ears, mind, etc. And because of that, eyes are able to see, ears are able to hear, mind is able to think, emote, perceive. And well, so this is the first fact revealed here, is that because of in whose presence, well, they are able to function. Without their consciousness, they are not able to, they are incapable of do their function. So without consciousness, there is no seeing, there is no hearing, there is no thinking, there is no emoting. Right? So this is one thing. Consciousness is a self-revealing principle, and everything is revealed to the consciousness. Second important fact revealed by this Shrotrasya Shrotram is the existence aspect, which is more important actually. Revelation is there, but existence also. And so a thing basically exists in consciousness. Everything exists in consciousness. You prove any object's existence in consciousness. When you say something is, space is, let us talk about here. Sound is, as I said here also, just a few minutes ago. Sound is, well, consciousness is. How will you say otherwise sound is? Existence of sound is proven where? In consciousness. There is no sound without consciousness. There is no sound beyond consciousness. There is no sound besides consciousness. Prove the existence of sound away from the boundary of consciousness. Try. So not just they are revealed because of consciousness. Well, their existence also is proven in consciousness. So consciousness is self-revealing, chit. Everything is revealed to the consciousness. Consciousness lends existence to everything. Everything has an existence. It's being in consciousness. Consciousness is self-existent. What is self-existent? Means its existence depends upon whom? On self. That's how I is called the self. Right? What is self-existent, and I is called the self because it is self-existent. The consciousness is self-existent. What is self-existent? Where is death? We'll see that later. Anyway, so point is, everything's existence is proven. Body is. Body consciousness is. Where is existence of the body without being pervaded by consciousness? No. Try. Today you try it and tomorrow we'll see. Try today to prove the existence of anything away from consciousness, beyond consciousness. Try. No. And therefore, Shrotrasya Shrotram reveals the existence of the ears. Function of the ear, well, because of the presence of consciousness. The existence of the ears also is because of consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is self-existent principle called Sat. Consciousness is self-revealing principle called Chit. That consciousness is limitless, etc. We'll see that. That is how Ananda. So that comes. So, I alone am self-existent. Everything exists in consciousness. I lend existence to everything. Everything borrows the existence. That's how we have a one word for that, which you like, I hope, and that's called Mithya. Mithya, oh, it has come. But Swamiji, thank God it has come at the end now. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. In evening, 4:30.